The same way Lyrical Lemonade could blow up an artist by like, you know, shooting a video for them, like I would love to be able to blow up an artist just by making content about them. To make like a long story short, like Chris Webby's crew invited me to the strip club with them. I was like low-key a little bit underage at the time, but it's cool. I'm just like, bro, like there's no chance I'm about to say the N-word. So I'm there and I get up to the N-word in the verse. And then at the N-word, I'm just like, and I stopped. I'm just like, wait, whoa. And everybody's like, in the crowd. I'm just like, yo, like, what do you want me to do? What's going on? It's Josh Wexler from OneTrackMind, and I'm here with LOWKEY MTL. Let's get it.
Prochaine station.
LOWKEY MTL.
You have a platform called OneTrackMind, which is basically an artist discovery platform for like underground artists. How did you come up with that idea?
So I started like a completely different platform called Underground Artists or something like that on Instagram when I was in like grade 9 or 10. And then 11th grade came around and I started the original version of OneTrackMind, which was a Facebook Instagram page called Talent of the Underground.
Okay.
And then over time, it kind of just evolved into OneTrackMind.
So are you like mainly focusing on like Montreal, for example, at the time, or are you kind of just like literally looking for like any underground artist?
At the time I was focused mostly on like any underground artist.
Cool,
I was doing outreach to like some popping guys out here, but it was more so like any talent that I could shine a light onto, I would do.
Right. And so is that because like you're automatically finding this and like you're like, shit, I can't believe nobody knows about these guys?
Like at the time I was really, really good at finding music like before people blew up. Like I was on like, you know what I mean, like XXXTentacion with a couple of my friends like way before he blew, like stuff like that. So I'd find all of these artists before they blow up. I was like, like what if I established a like relationship with them before they go up, you know?
The logo and everything, that all look like that when you started it?
No, not at all. I was called Talent of the Underground. I made like it was like a microphone logo on like on Canva. It was completely different. So like I started this like rebrand. Once I started looking at like platforms like Montreality and Lyrical Lemonade, I was like, whoa, like they all have this certain aesthetic to them, like bright colors, vibrant, like really just a different type of vibe. So I called up a designer friend of mine after I came up with the name with another friend of mine like a couple weeks before, and then I called up a designer friend and I was just like, hey, like I'm working on this rebrand, like I'd love to, you know, go over some stuff. And we did like 5 or 6 drafts of like different logos, and finally we came to the, you know, signature OneTrackMind logo. Right,
yeah, which I really like. It's really sick. When you're rebranding, are you like, has the platform already started like getting some like exposure, and like is it starting to get bigger? Is that why you're rebranding, or are you just rebranding because you're like, okay, I want to like refresh and restart?
Yeah, it was more so like a refresh restart thing. Like things weren't working when it was like Talent of the Underground, because like I was putting on for all these underground artists, but like by the same token there was no one who was already up to help bring me up type thing, you know? It was like very minimal engagement. Really, it wasn't doing very well, so I figured like a rebrand might help, and you know, it did.
Yeah. So it started taking off right away? Like
no, it definitely took a while. I rebranded probably like in 2018, halfway through 2018, I'd say. And things only really started taking off like end of 2020-ish, I'd say. Maybe early, I don't know, sometime in 2020.
Okay, so this is like a project you did like pre-COVID. This is like something you just...
I started this before COVID. I've been doing this for couple of years now for sure.
Dope. And what were your like milestones? Like which social medias like really took off? Like
TikTok for sure. TikTok crazy. Yeah. TikTok, like I put out, because I was going viral on my personal account before this whole OneTrackMind stuff.
Personal TikTok account?
Sorry?
On your personal TikTok?
Yeah, so like me and my best friend had a personal TikTok account, and like I told you, I used to be really into freestyling, so I would do like a couple freestyles, and I was getting like 200,000-300,000 views every freestyle I put out, and I was like, okay, cool, like let me try this out on tape.
So why do you think it's corny, like, and like why are you stepping away from that if you're getting
For me, it's a little corny. Like I'm just like, I don't know, I was never really like super, I think that artists have to be true to their artistry, and like for me it was like this gimmick, like a party trick type thing, you know what I mean? It wasn't really something I was passionate about.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's really cool that you could like notice that and see that in yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not really on that wave.
On TikTok, is there a specific moment where you start blowing up?
So after I went viral on my personal account with my friend, we kind of like like we went viral consistently. We built it up to like 30,000 followers, and then
from just freestyling.
So it was my freestyles. He would put out some comedic content. It was like a really big mix of the two, but like it kind of screwed up the engagement on that account a little, because like people would come either for his comedy and then see my freestyles, or come for my freestyles.
Right,
and see
it's two different things.
It's two different audiences.
Yeah.
So it kind of like deaded our engagement completely, and I put out like this like rap related piece of content on that TikTok account, and it did really well, like 300,000 views. So I was like, oh cool, like let me see if I can do this on my own. And like me and my friend kind of split it. Like he took that account, it was his, and then I was like not forced at all, but I was like, I had to build my own TikTok following. So I put out 2 videos, they both did decently, and then on my 3rd video, like my 3rd day, 1.8 million views. It just went crazy. Like it was wild. Yeah.
So what was that 3rd video?
So I saw this concept on YouTube by a dude named Patrick CC, and he had done like, I DM'd 1,000 rappers asking for a feature or something like that, or 100 rappers asking for a feature. And like I had spent like from beginning of COVID until that point in time, so like August, hitting up different rappers being like, hey, like I'd love to get an interview with you. And I did, like I tallied it out and it came to a bit over 1,000. So I was like, oh, like let me take this concept and apply it on TikTok. Like I DM'd 1,000 rappers asking for an interview, and I just went over it. Like, and that video was like me talking about getting rejected by Macklemore's people, and then getting an interview with this guy named Jufu, and it went crazy. That was a big TikTok.
Do you remember the hashtags you had on that?
Probably like hashtag like FYP,
of course,
MTL 514, like things like that. Okay. Very generic things.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's dope. That whole idea of DMing people and like hitting them up through email, like where did you get that from? Because I get like very like Gary Vee vibes, you know, like just fucking push, jab.
Yeah, it was definitely on that vibe. Like the Gary Vee stuff is like, find someone that you want to like intern for and hit them up. And I've done that for like, because I've always wanted to work in the music industry, and like that's why I built this platform, to like try to get my own in. But like I was also doing things outside of, you know, OneTrackMind, like where I was hitting up people trying to intern for them for free and like work for them or whatever it could be, any opportunity that I could get. So I was like, oh, like it worked in that respect, because I did end up landing like an internship and then a couple jobs in the music industry.
Right.
But it worked on that front. So I was like, oh cool, like let me try it with artists. So I was sending like probably like anywhere from 50 to 300 emails a day, just, hey, like I'd love to do an interview with you, you know?
So so that's for the interviews, but like when you're getting internship positions and stuff, what are you leveraging as your skills?
At this point, I'm a little bit more experienced. So
now you are, yeah. But like in the beginning, like when you're just like DMing, because I saw a video of yours, you got for, I think it was Polo G that you got interned?
Yeah, so I interned for Polo G's management.
But you had like Rich the Kid and Lil Mosey like as experience already. How did you get that?
So it was kind of a weird situation. I used to manage an artist back in like 2017, 2018, and I got him to open for a show for a guy named Chris Webby. He was like kind of a popping artist when I was younger.
How did that happen? You just DM, that was an email thing?
Supernatural. Like we saw it happening. We're like, hey, like we think we could push some tickets. Like let's see if we can get him opening. And then I became friends with the concert promoter who was running the Chris Webby show. So yeah, that Chris Webby show, I went and my artist was opening, and like we kind of networked with the guy who ran the show, and then we got in and I was like, oh, that bartender's mad cute. So like the artist that I was representing, and he was like, yo, you should go talk to her. So I talked to her like the whole night, you know, and at the end of the night, you know, they're closing down the place. Only people that are allowed left are like the people who opened. So my artist was allowed being there with me, obviously, and then Chris Webby's like whole crew and the people who worked at the place. So it's literally me, the bartender, Chris Webby's squad, and then like 2 openers, like including my artist. So I'm chatting with this bartender, and then Chris Webby comes up and he's like, yo, like what's going on? Like daps me up. And this is a guy I've been listening to for a long time, and he was trying to get with the bartender type thing, you know? So I was like, oh, okay, like I'm definitely gonna like take a networking opportunity as opposed to, you know, getting with like some bartender. Yeah, exactly. So that kind of happened, and then like it was super weird. So he was like, oh, like, he was like, oh, like, can I get your number or something like that to the girl? And I was like on my way away, because I was like, yo, like do your thing, bro. Like I'm not trying to get in your way. And then I heard her say something along the lines of like, yeah, you can get my number, but you gotta take his first. He's gonna be really big in the music industry one day. And I was like, yo, she is a plug. And he was like, oh yeah, for real? I'm like, yeah, like, I mean, I'd like to think so. And he's like, all right, cool. That's my manager over there. Go talk to him. So I'm like, cool, like dope. I started talking to his manager. Really, really cool, like little networking vibe. The promoter of the show saw me doing my thing with like the manager and the artist, so he was like, yeah, like you can intern with me, no problem. to make like a long story short, like Chris Webby's crew invited me to the strip club with them. I was like low-key a little bit underage at the time, but it's cool.
It's all good, low-key.
But yeah, like I went to like the strip club with them. I caught a vibe with like a major artist, so I kind of understood major artist by my scales. And like I really like kind of understood the dynamic, and it was at a young age that I was able to. I was like 17, so I was really able to understand the dynamic of large artists at the time. And then with that, I kind of took it and started hustling in the promoting scene. So I hit this promoter that did the Chris Webby show probably like 2-3 months later, and he told me like he was planning some big things. He was talking to me about like, yo, like we're about to do like, you know, Mosey, obviously we're about to do like a festival. Obviously some stuff got canceled because of COVID, but he was talking to me about a lot of different stuff. So we were supposed to do a Rich the Kid show here, and it was like a whole like tour of Rich the Kid. So the one that was here in November got canceled, but I was hustling. Like he would send me to like, you know, I live in the West Island. He would send me like Barry UCAM to pick up posters and stuff like that, like in the freezing cold in the middle of winter. I didn't have a car, like I was just bus metro in there, picked up these posters, handing them around Dawson type thing, like really going hard at it. That show ended up getting canceled in Montreal, but I was still, you know, I still played a role in like the Ottawa and like Winnipeg and like other places in Canada shows.
And you're kind of getting like an insight of like
yeah,
how
exactly.
it happens, right?
Yeah, and it also like helped me stack my resume a little bit too. So like it was a lot of good stuff all in one. And yeah, like he put me on that. It didn't end up going through completely. He put me on a Dax show. That one went through, and you know I promoted it, and it was dope. And then before COVID, like we were supposed to do another Chris Webby show, but it got canceled. He was gonna have me like run that one like on my own because he's from Ottawa, so he was gonna stay out there. So I had all this stuff on my resume, and then you know I was following all these management like Instagram accounts, or I was emailing management and whatever, and I have all this good stuff on my resume already. So I just hit them up and I was like, hey, like, because they posted on their story, they're like, oh, we're looking for interns. So I swiped up and I was like, oh, like, I'd love to do it. They asked for my resume and we hopped on a call and it just got locked in.
So you're planning out that email structure. You say you hit up 2 people and then like a picture of Nardwar pops up. Is that for real, or are you just...
So not Nardwar himself,
okay.
But I've been working in the music industry outside of OneTrackMind for a little while now. And my mentor, like the first person to ever show me love, his name's Jeremy Hecht. He's like a very, very well-established interviewer in the music industry. Like this guy's he's interviewed like NLE Choppa, he did like Wiz Khalifa not long ago. Like he's done some crazy interviews. So he obviously knows like the structure and the scene well enough to be able to do it. So I hit him up and I was like, yo, like if you could help me structure this, that'd be great. I'm also cool with like a very large artist manager who went to my high school. That's like a whole different thing, but he represents... I went to Herzliya High School, so like a little private school in like Snowden. But yeah, so I hit him up too, and I was like, yo, like, what do you think about this? He helped me restructure, and then another DJ out in Toronto who's like very cool with my older brother, and I'm friends with him too. So I hit him as well, and we just kind of all like pitched in different ideas to be able to structure the perfect email, and we came up with it, and the ball started rolling after that.
Is there connection to Nardwar through here? Or?
Not actually Nardwar, no. I just put a picture of him because like he's a big interviewer.
In
like,
Canada, he's like everybody knows him.
Yeah, okay, exactly. So yeah, I have no interaction with Nardwar. I wish I did.
Right. So and when you're sending these emails out, you already have like the mindset of okay, like most likely like people are gonna like refuse this. But were you surprised to see like how many people actually answered you and shit?
The first time around, yeah, because I've done like multiple rounds of like emailing the same people. So like as I got more and more established, it was a little bit easier to hit people up. The first time around when I got replies, because I was getting replies from some crazy people, like even though there were no's, like Bad Baby hit me, NBA Youngboy hit me back, a lot of people hit me, Quando Rondo hit me back, like a lot of well-established, I think like Pop Smoke even hit me back before he passed away. Like I emailed him before he passed away. Like a lot of people hit me back.
Yeah.
So I was getting so many replies that it was kind of like re-encouraging. Like, you know what I mean? Like all these large people are taking time out of their day to like hit me back. Even if it's for a no, I'm just like, yo, I'm gonna grind even that much harder and get a bigger platform and hit them again. And you know, I made rounds and I've turned no's into yeses. You know what I mean? I've interviewed people.
So you have like hit people up like over and over again.
So it's like I'll hit them up like 1 month and then like, you know, 2 months go by and my platform goes up by like, you know, 10,000 followers on TikTok and like a couple thousand on Instagram, like a couple hundred or maybe even 1,000 on YouTube, and I'll hit them again and they'll be like, okay, yeah, cool, like we like what you got going on, let's do it. So,
and are you following up with the same type of like email, or are you just modifying it a bit?
A little bit of modification. I'm hitting them with the same email structure, just it's like instead of saying like, oh, my biggest interview is like this dude who's small, I can be like, yeah, like now I've interviewed Flip De Niro, and now I've interviewed, you know, The Activist, now I've interviewed all of these like more popping guys, and they'll be like, oh, like, you know, I know him, he's popping, like let me get on this platform too.
Right. Okay, and while you're doing this, do you have any like realizations of like, do you see like a miscommunication? You're like, yeah, this could be way better if it was like this
definitely.
kind of thing.
Because like a lot of the time, like people hire like independent publicists, so like like it's not like people who are signed don't have like label-based publicists. They have external like third-party publicists, so like they're not 100% aware of everything going on in their circle. So like I've run into different situations where like, you know, a manager will tell me yes, and then I'll hit a publicist and they'll be like, no, like they're not doing press right now. Like, I don't know what you heard, but that's just not the case.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I saw how like some artists even wanted you to pay them to get them on. Who would you actually pay right now at this point to get on? Like, who's somebody that you see as worth paying for?
There's a lot of people I see as worth paying for. Would I do it? Not necessarily, because I wouldn't be able to determine growth in my own platform if I were to pay people, you know? So like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? I do think that like an interview with Trippie Redd or even like a Drake or Travis, all that stuff would be dope. But then like if I paid for it, not that I could for like a Travis, Drake or Trippie Redd, but hypothetically, if I were to pay for it, I wouldn't really be able to see like legitimate growth in my own platform. Like I wouldn't know that I have such a large platform that I deserve that interview.
I see what you mean. Okay, yeah, so you can't really tell if it's organic or people are coming for this guest.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. Are you running OneTrackMind like with a business, obviously with a business mindset, but like are you like literally like tracking your costs and all that stuff?
Yeah, we're pretty on point with our stuff. So OneTrackMind isn't just me independently.
Yeah, okay, who's your team?
So I have a partner, Jer. He handles more of the business front. Again, I'm like more of the creative side, he's more of the business side. So he does a lot on that, you know, end in terms of like managing our costs, seeing what would be a worthwhile investment, things along those lines. We also have a couple interns on board. So we have, and they're from like all over, like not like it's me and Jared from Montreal. Everybody else is like from different places all over.
So are you hiring these people through Instagram? Like stories?
Some of them will like hit my DMs. Some of them will comment on a TikTok. Like it's a bunch of stuff. And we've had like, I'd say like 15 plus people reach out to try and intern for us. We kind of just like chose the ones that we thought fit it best. So we got an intern out in Ohio, Jordan, who takes care of some stuff with me directly. So like playlisting, Discord. We're starting up like a new TikTok account for clips from our YouTube, things like that. He's kind of like my intern and works directly with me. Then we got an intern out in Vancouver. His name is Mitch. He does also quite a bit. He edits some TikToks, does like kind of engagement on Reddit and Facebook for our platform. And then we got an intern from Toronto. He's new, so he's kind of just on the TikTok editing front right now, but we're gonna grow him into a bigger position as time goes on. But yeah, we got a nice team set up, really a good dynamic between everyone, you know.
Dope. So what are you primarily looking at, like good editing skills, I guess?
Like for an intern, you mean?
Yeah, for an intern right now. What was your thought process in that?
It varied. The first intern was Jordan, and he hopped onto the team. He just showed a lot of passion for the music industry, you know. And then we had Mitch hop on, same kind of drive, was willing to learn anything, which was awesome. So he reached out, and we were very down to work with him. He just had that drive. And then the last one is Kylan from Toronto. He's a friend of my cousin's. Really been trying to get into the music industry for a while now. Started up his own like similar venture to OneTrackMind. I saw that, I was like, you know what, also reminds me of myself. He had video editing skills already. I was like, all right, cool, let's bring him in.
When you're working for Polo G, is there any marketing stuff that you noticed that you're like you could bring into OneTrackMind, or that you have brought into OneTrackMind? Not
necessarily into OneTrackMind, because it's a little bit of a different dynamic, since they were like, I was interning for his management, right? So I didn't really get to see like the label side of things or anything like that. But I got to see like some of the, you know what I mean, building out one sheets for artists, so like PR kits, how to build one correctly. It helped me like kind of hone my editing skills, because I was editing videos for his little sister, building websites for him. I really developed like skills in all different areas, and like it really helped me kind of become more polished in the industry, you know? Is
that giving you like an idea of like how the industry promotion works, and like how, that's what I mean, like is there anything like promotion wise that you could then take from that and use for OneTrackMind?
From Polo, no, but I've worked like a handful of jobs in the music industry, like of, I'd say about that caliber. So I'm currently an intern at Alamo Records, and they have like they have some crazy marketing stuff going on that end. So like just in terms of like gathering data and being like consistent and being able to kind of like notice, oh, like this is doing well, let's keep attacking that point type thing. Like I've picked up a lot from just their whole research front, and that's probably why they're so successful as a label.
What are you doing for them?
So I do A&R intern work for them, as well as some computer science internship like stuff for them, and then also on the marketing side for TikTok things.
Do you know CompuSci?
Sorry?
Do you know computer science?
Yeah, so I study I'm about to graduate computer science. Like that's a school internship that I have with them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, that's one of the things. I also I've done TikTok work for like Flip the Narrows camp when they dropped the song with A Boogie with a Hoodie. I currently am a contractor for Taylor Gang, which is like Wiz Khalifa's label, doing some TikTok stuff for them, and I also am a video editor for Hip Hop DX. So I get to see really like every single aspect of the music industry, you know?
Yeah, and you're in school?
I'm in school, yeah.
Damn, that's a good busy ass schedule, bro.
Yeah, it keeps me busy for sure.
Yeah. Are there any Montreal artists that are like underground right now that you see have great potential?
Absolutely. First and foremost, my artist that I represent, separate of OneTrackMind, Zuli. He's going crazy right now. You know, we're getting him. He got co-signed by Uno the Activist. Has some records in the vault with some pretty large artists. A lot of good publicity coming his way. Really good stuff on.
How did you guys find each other?
I've kind of known him for a really long time. I just didn't know he made music, and I heard his music, not knowing it was him, because he wanted to keep his face like hidden from his music, like separate. And I heard it, and I was like, "This is awesome. This is so good." And as of like January or December of 2020/2021, I was like, you know what? Like, I have all these industry connections. I'd love to make something happen, be your manager. Let's get something going. So I picked him up, thought his music was fire. And yeah, we kind of got it moving from there. On the front of like upcoming Montreal artists, that I mess with, YNG Travs, Jay Schreier, Jada Kid. There's a bunch, Liddy X, whole bunch of them, and then there's like obviously the more established guys like Kangoon, Mike Shab, you know, all those guys.
Right.
They're all hella cool too. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on like, you know, like music now I find is going more towards like something that could pop off on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, because sometimes it could be like something ear rapey that just takes off. Where do you draw that line of like making music to pop off on TikTok versus like making legit good music?
I think if you make music with the intention of it popping off on TikTok, you're not doing it for the right reasons, you know? Like, I don't think that should ever be the intent. If something just so happens to pop off on TikTok, great, that's dope, like awesome for you. But if you're going in with the mindset, like this song is gonna go crazy on TikTok, I personally don't think that's the right way to approach it. Like, I don't think that anyone should really be making music for anyone other than themselves, you know? Make it to the best of your ability. Hope that like fans that you already have or fans you're trying to grab, you know, gravitate towards it. But don't say like, oh, the song is gonna go crazy if I promote it on TikTok, you know?
Right. Yeah. But what about like artists that need exposure and don't have exposure? Don't they have to like look at it in a marketing sense and like?
You can use TikTok as a means of promotion. I just don't think that you should say, oh, like I know that this demographic will go with this music, and even though I don't really like the song that I'm making, or even though that I think what I'm doing is corny or I'm way better than what I'm showcasing on TikTok, I'm gonna do it because it's gonna get so much attention and so many eyes. Like, that should never be an intention. It should be like, I want to make good music and I will use TikTok to promote said good music. It shouldn't be, I want to make music because I think it will do well on TikTok, you know?
Word, yeah, I agree with that. And like, that's also like the reason why you stepped away from music, because you didn't see that passion in it, right?
Exactly. Like, if I were to make music, like, I've gone to a studio session and just like recorded like for jokes, like more recently, like last year. But like it wasn't something that I planned on releasing. I just wanted to see the experience, you know? But I know that it would be corny and it wouldn't be like true to like actually what I'm capable of doing, you know?
Yeah, no, I respect that for sure. Do you have any like crazy industry stories of like you just being in a certain situation?
For sure. Some that I could tell.
Or you can't tell.
No, there's some that I could tell for sure. Industry stories, you know.
You have some that you can't tell?
Yeah, definitely have something I can't tell. I have like 2 or 3 that I can't tell. But
you can't like censor their names.
I could do that.
Because I'm actually curious now. You just made me
curious.
curious.
There are some, yeah, for sure. I was accidentally added to a group chat of a large collective not too long ago. This is going back like a few months, and this large collective started sending some weird messages in that group. Let's just leave it at that. And then they found out that I wasn't part of this collective. Like, it was all of this collective and then me. And one day and I'm never texting this group chat. I kind of just wanted to see like what was going on, you know? Yeah. So one day I see like, who's 514? Like, what is this number? You know, like, who is this? And then they're like, we got an imposter. So I'm like, oh, like this is kind of bad. Like I'm not, I'm not prepared for this. So I get a FaceTime call from one of the artists that's part of this collective. He's not like crazy famous or anything like that. And I was like, oh, like like we just chopped it up a little bit. He took a screenshot and sent it to the group. He's like, yo, it's this guy. And then I get a call from the head of the collective who's like very famous. Like I can't explain to you. And he FaceTimes me. And I'm just like, bro, like what is going on right now? Like this is kind of crazy. So he's on FaceTime with me and we go back and forth. Like he's just laughing. I'm laughing for 2 minutes straight and he hangs up. And I'm like, all right, weird, but cool. And this was happening while I was on the phone on a Zoom call with one of Flip the Narrows people. Like I was on the phone with Flip's DJ at the same time. So I was like, yo, like this person just called me up. Like this is kind of weird, isn't it? And he was like, bro, like that is mad weird. What the hell? And 10 minutes later he calls me back and he's like, yo, like, and this is still the big, like, he's like actually proper famous. Like I can't explain how.
Yeah, you can't even like give enough. Like if you give one hint, like I'll figure it out.
Yeah, literally. Nah, I'm not gonna be. Like I'll tell you who it is off camera, but like definitely not. But yeah, so he FaceTimes me again, and we just go back and forth a little bit. We have a little conversation, and he's just like, "Yo, like, how did you get into this group chat? Like, bro, like you can't be like telling like yeah." He's like, "You can't tell people that you were in this group chat." So it's like a little bit of a weird situation here. And I was like, nah, you're good. And he's like, bro, when you pop out to LA, like hit us, you know what I mean? Like we'll get something going. So I was like, all right, cool, like that's dope. So we got off the phone. That was one industry story that happened. It was kind of crazy. Again, I wish I could name drop that.
No, it's good that you're respecting what they want.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely gonna respect that. But on the front of like crazy industry stories, you know, I've had like interactions with some pretty like well-established artists. You know, I've spoken to Flip. Obviously, me and Flip became cooler as time went on. Helped him out with some marketing stuff.
Are you doing like a lot of free work at this time?
Now, not really.
No, like in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning for sure. I did that for Flip for free. I've done like a lot of free work for a lot of different artists. I did for Flip for free. I did work for like a dude named Brandman Sean, who's big on YouTube for free. Hello Yassine, also big on YouTube for free. I was supposed to work
you're just trying to build that CV out.
Yeah, exactly. And I built it up, and once it was built and I started getting paid gigs, I was like, all right, like no more.
Then you have credibility. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, on the front of industry stories, like, you know what I mean? Like when Lil Beretti was here for his shoot, like I was there. It was really cool. I interviewed him, still in the tuck right now. We haven't really put that out yet, but we will. LB Spiffy, when we interviewed him, like it was a cool vibe, you know, like really cool dude. In terms of industry stories, like it wasn't like a crazy story that went on, you know what I mean? He pulled up to the studio with his mom and his publicist, and we just chilled, caught a vibe, you know, talked a little bit about like how he got co-signed by Drake and like Kylie Jenner and things like that.
Have you ever been to LA?
No, I haven't. I plan on going hopefully this summer.
Yeah, same. I want to go. Like I feel like there's such a creative environment there, and like you could just connect with so many people there.
Definitely, there's a lot of opportunity out there for sure.
Yeah. Do you think that's still there even after this whole like pandemic situation?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I know a lot of people. Like again, I'm cool with like artist managers more so than artists. So like you know, I'm cool with like Matt Ox's manager. I'm cool with like the former manager for Jaron Benton, who kind of works with like Bankroll Hayden's team. I'm cool with a lot of different artist managers, and like most of them are based out in LA, and it's still bumping out there, like despite what a lot of people
yeah, I heard there's a lot of underground parties going on.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on out there, definitely.
Yeah, shit. It's very tempting.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with this fucking lockdown here.
Definitely.
It's insane.
It's kind of rough out here.
You're heading to Toronto?
Yeah, I'm popping out to Toronto next semester for school. I also have some work coming in with artists like obviously Lil Beretti. Like me and his team work pretty closely. Anders, if you know who that is.
Yeah.
And then we got like a Toronto content rollout with some crazy artists. You know, we got some crazy artists who agreed to share our content up on their stories and things like that. So I plan on getting some work in with them as well.
Yeah, my boy's obsessed with Anders.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Anders is hard. Yeah. I mean, I've yet to meet him just because like I'm kind of working with this management as of right now, but. It shouldn't be too long before I do, you know?
Yeah, especially if you're in Toronto, you're going to meet
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's out in Miami right now, though.
Okay, yeah, that's like a spot everybody's at too right now.
Yeah.
Miami seems like a vibe right now.
Crazy scene out there, for sure.
Everything's back to normal. Everybody's just partying it out.
Yeah, it's wild.
Fuck. So you're getting a big following on TikTok right now. So like, are you actively trying to transfer that following into Instagram? Definitely. And like other platforms?
Instagram, YouTube, wherever I can bring
What's the most effective way to get like TikTok followers to follow you on Instagram or on YouTube?
So there was like a point in time where I got banned from TikTok Live. But there was a point in time where I was
What
going
were you
live.
doing on live, bro?
So again, I told you I like to freestyle. So I would go on Omegle and I would like ask people to give me words, like random words, and I just freestyle. And they were my views
like
were
fucking
like,
Harry Mack.
yeah, literally on that type of. Actually, I know, like, so I reached out to him too. So like, it was a weird dynamic.
That's
but
it. Harry Mack is fucking
he's hard,
insane, bro.
He's wild, yeah. So I would do like very Harry Mack style videos. I'd go on Omegle and like freestyle for people, and I'd have like 600 plus people in all my lives. Like it was crazy. Like I was going wild on there. And then at the end of like my freestyle sessions, I'd be like, yo, follow me on Instagram. Like I'm following a lot of you back, and I'd like go to my Instagram, be up like, you know, an extra 200-300 followers every single night, like for like with consistency too. It was going crazy.
Yeah.
And I got banned because some dude like kind of whipped it out on camera.
Oh, that's it. That's all it took.
That was it. Yeah. Like I was off TikTok.
And then
live.
how'd you get back on? Oh, like
Just
forever?
live. TikTok live, I'm banned.
You're still banned?
Yeah, I'm not back. So I'm like, that was where my growth was, like for sure.
Yeah, lives are so key. And have you tried doing that on Instagram, like Instagram lives?
Yeah, I've done it, and like I don't get anywhere near as many people.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, like I get like, I'd say like I'd average like 10-ish people that stay on my lives. Like if it's a good day, like 25, 30. But
right.
I average like 10. But yeah,
I feel like Instagram lives are more intimate, like.
Definitely, for sure. Like you get to have a real conversation with the people that are, in my TikTok lives, I was having like comments like flying through, so I wasn't able to engage.
Exactly,
with
and
much.
it's just so international, like the audience too. Like,
Definitely.
It's more like public kind of thing, you know.
Exactly. So I really tried to like I was bringing it over successfully, and like hopefully, you know, TikTok hears me out, because I'm trying to get in contact with some people based out of Canada for TikTok Live.
What time was like the best time to do like lives?
Oh, I would go on. I'd finish studying like at 12 a.m. Go on live, like my whole house would be sleeping. They get mad at me in the morning.
Why? Because you could hear it?
Sorry?
You could hear it?
Yeah, you could hear it for sure. So I'd go on live, like flip the camera, show people on Omegle, freestyle for them, pull in like 500-600 people, whatever, and then like at the end of my lives, I'd go back and like, you know, it would obviously drop because like people are there for the freestyles, but like I'd still have like 200-300 people who were just like rocking with me. I would go up like, you know, 1,000-2,000 followers every time I went live. Plus I was getting viral videos, so it was like a bunch of followers coming my way.
Yeah, and like the access to audience on TikTok right now is really underrated.
Yeah, super underrated.
I feel like it's key to transfer that audience into like Instagram, or like mainly Instagram and like YouTube, right? Because like who knows, like TikTok could easily just get banned, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I've had some success with like not even transferring, but getting new eyes on my Instagram, because like a lot of really famous people have been like posting me on their stories and stuff, like just because like of the virality of the TikToks.
Yeah.
But it's been tough since the TikTok lives have gone. You know.
Where do you see OneTrackMind in like 5 years from now?
Ideally, is like the number one platform. Like the same way Lyrical Lemonade could blow up an artist by like, you know, shooting a video for them. Like I would love to be able to blow up an artist just by making content about them. You know, if I could say like, yo, this dude is gonna be the next big artist in the industry, and people just took my word for that and then flocked to that person and really like started bumping their music, like that's the ideal dream, you know. Hopefully within a couple of years we can get there. And
do you have like a feeling of responsibility of like say you have that power, like would you feel like a weird pressure of like, because like it's kind of like your opinion, well it's not necessarily only your opinion, obviously you're like you so far, like what I've been seeing is like you're actually finding good artists and like dope shit, and like when you even show artists to like other artists, like I saw like a Zoom call you had with someone, you could even see in their facial reactions them being like genuinely impressed and like vibing. So like you're finding good shit for real. But like, do you ever think about that of like having that like you know?
Yeah, I've gotten like the hate comments on TikTok and stuff, people being like, yo, like your choice of music isn't great, or like, you know what I mean, like you really don't know what you're doing, things like that. And I'll just be like, you know what, you're feeding my algorithm, you're getting me more on the For You page, I don't really care. So like, like I will put on what I think is like, not just what I think, like if I think something's dope but like people around me are just like, nah, that's not it, like I'll put that on the back burner, you know what I mean? But
you're being true to yourself when you're looking for
exactly. I'm being true to myself. Like I'll never put out something that goes against my morals, and like if I hear something that's horrible, like I don't care if you're offering me $1 million to say it's good, like I'm not putting it out, you know? Yeah,
I see that for sure. And what's like a milestone guest you would want to have besides Drake?
Joyner Lucas, no doubt. Joyner Lucas gave me my first like dose of the industry. Like this is, you know what, I should have told you this one. This is a big industry story. So in like 2018, in like May of 2018, I went to my like third concert ever, which was Joyner Lucas, and I went with like a couple of my boys, and like this is when he's still a small artist, like nothing really popped off for him yet. Like there's like 600 people in the crowd. Now he's selling out like 4,000 person venues, you know? So like I pulled up and he starts doing his remix of Future's Mask Off, and he's wearing a mask, so you can only see his eyes. So I was like, oh, this is dope. And he has like a really fast verse in there, and he starts spitting it, and like everybody in the audience is like, oh, this is crazy. And I'm there, and I'm like looking him in his eyes through the mask. I'm like, yo, like let's go. And I'm like rapping along with him. Like I'm really like going like word for word. So it was crazy. So he takes off the mask, the music cuts, and he's like, yo, I need somebody to come on stage and finish this verse for me. So like my boys that are all around me, they start pointing to me. They're like, yo, he could do it. And Joyner, like, he was looking at me the whole time he was doing that verse, you know? Like, he was like, yo, like, you think you got what it takes? And I'm just like there. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, nah, you gotta be sure. I'm like, all right, cool. So I get up on stage, and like I dap up Joyner. I'm like, yo, what it do? And he gives me the mic, and DJ starts like pressuring me, bro. He's like, there's no going back now. Like, you gotta do it right.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, I walk up to Joyner on the side, because like there's like a lot of N-words in that verse, you feel? So like I'm just like, yo, what should I say instead of the N-word? You know, like I'm a little,
yeah,
like,
it's a
super fast verse. It's like really hard to get through all of it. He's like, yo, say whatever you want, bro. Like do whatever. I'm just like, bro, like there's no chance I'm about to say the N-word.
Yeah.
So I'm there, and I get up to the N-word in the verse, and then at the N-word, I'm just like, and I stopped. I'm just like, wait, whoa. And everybody's like, in the crowd. I'm just like, yo, like, what do you want me to do? Yeah, so like Joyner Lucas, like it would be full circle if I got to like get, like I've been in contact with his team since. Just on
but are you getting around it? Like, did you figure out a way to do it without the N-word, or like?
Oh no, bro. I did it one time, and everyone in the crowd is like, whoa, he choked. Yeah. I'm sorry, let me try it one more time. And I did it, and the first time I didn't even replace the word. I just like skipped it. You know what I mean? I was just like,
you just like muted.
Yeah, I muted exactly. And I cut it. And the second time it came around, because it's such a fast verse.
Yeah, I feel like it would be so hard to fucking.
Very hard to do, and like I never tried doing that. You know what I mean? Exactly. So I was just like, oh, like I guess let me try doing it. And then I did it, and it just didn't go through. But like that night, since I got on stage and had eyes on me, like I got to meet like Dirtwork, who's like a crazy producer from Montreal. He produced like Goonie Gang for K-Goon. He has like credits with like Drake and like A Boogie. Like he's crazy. So I met him that night because he saw me on stage.
Just like that, so he approached you.
So he was there. His artist that he was managing at the time, I don't know if he still does, his name's Spang Squire, opened for Joyner Lucas. And then after the show happened, I went up to Spang, because like we're the only two people who were on stage with Joyner. I was like, yo, it's good. He's like, yo, like you were dope out there. I don't care what anybody says, bro. Like you held your own. You know, you did your thing. And I was like, appreciate that. And then Dirtwork walked up to us, and like at the time I didn't really know who he was, but like looking back on it, like he's like one of the bigger people in the industry in Montreal for sure. So yeah, he's like, yeah, bro, like this shit was dope, like whatever. And we started talking a little bit, like found out he produced for Drake. He's like close boys with Boy Wonder. I think he might even be his manager. I don't really know their situation. But yeah, like close boys with Boy Wonder, produced for Drake, produced for Kanye, Juice WRLD, like a bunch of crazy people. So I'm just there like, yo, that's kind of crazy. Like I just met like a real industry figure right now. And then Joyner's DJ came up to me. He was like, yo, your shit was dope. Like, don't even worry. Don't stress it. Like, it was hard. So, like,
how are you connecting with them in these situations? Or are you just like, yo, Instagram?
Yeah, so with Dirtwork, yeah, I did that. We connected. Same thing with Spang Squire, who was his artist. Joyner's DJ, I didn't really think to do it because, like, at the time, I didn't really have any value to offer. So, like, that's, like, my main thing. Like, if I have value to offer to somebody, then I'll be able to have a network, you 100%. Know? And I didn't really have value to offer him that at the time. But, you know, since then, I've been not personally in contact. I've been like indirectly in contact with Joyner's team via like Hip Hop DX, which is an outlet that I work for. So I've seen like, you know what I mean, like some stuff that I don't know if they're ever gonna do anything with him, but they were like in talks of doing some stuff with him a little while back. So like, you know, it's kind of coming full circle, but like definitely my dream interview is Joyner Lucas, because like that would be like a real full circle moment, you know?
Sick. So post COVID, what do you have plans with OneTrackMind? Anything?
We got some crazy stuff on the way for sure. So like we've been doing like these Zoom interviews. Like the only in-person interviews I've ever done are Flip the Nero and LB Spiffy. And that
where was LB Spiffy shot again?
We shot it in Toronto. I don't really.
Was it a studio?
Studio, yeah. We rented out a studio. I can't remember what it was called, but shout out to the guy who runs it because he was a really nice guy.
Okay, sick.
But yeah, so we shot it there. It was really cool. Yeah, you know what I mean? I went over the Spiffy stuff already, but I haven't really done any in-person interviews other than Spiffy and Flip. So post-COVID, yeah, we got some crazy people that I know there are some people out there who mess with myself and my brand. Like we've been shared up on, Einer Banks shared us on his story. Rich the Kid shared us on his story. Bro, like London B put us on her profile. She made like a post for us. There's a lot of Busy Banks, 22Gs, Lil Easy. A lot of big people have like really showed a lot of love. So like, ideally, you know, I'll pop out to New York with like the team, or Chicago or LA or Miami or whatever. There's probably someone there that, you know, will be down to do an interview. So there's definitely be a lot of in-person content that comes.
Yeah, so the in-person interviews, do you find it different than the Zoom ones, obviously?
100%. Yeah. They're like, it's just like a whole different level of being able to like vibe and like really understand somebody, you know? Yeah.
And like also like when you're out there, you're going to meet more people. And, like,
definitely, no question. Like even at the Spiffy interview, like his PR was also 88 Glam's PR. So like now I have a connect to 88 Glam, you know? Like, there's just a lot of stuff going on.
So, yeah, I remember when 88 Glam came here.
Oh yeah, that was like a while ago.
Yeah. Fuck, bro. I hope everything, like, I can't wait till fucking shit starts rolling again, because like I have some plans too for this summer, especially. Like, I'm gonna try, but like, I think they're predicting like June, because like I saw some concerts already up at like the Bell Center and shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of like stuff coming out here, and like a lot of the artists that are like popping out here have reached out to us. Like we were supposed to, pre-COVID, we were supposed to like lock in an Ian Dior interview. Yeah, we had some big people, like Metro was coming, right? So like I was hitting up everybody, like, you know what I mean? Hey, like we just interviewed Flip De Niro, let's get something going. So we got Ian Dior ready with Poor Stacy, who was like coming as his opener. Chris Webby, obviously we were supposed to do, because he was supposed to come as well. We had a lot of people that were planned.
What about like 24K Golden?
So him, it's actually kind of weird. He showed a lot of love to me early on. Yeah.
Because I feel like this guy has so much potential, bro. Like,
he's fantastic.
Because I saw a podcast with him, with Logan Paul.
Yeah, I saw it.
Like,
Impulsive.
Yeah, he's so like aware of shit. Like he's so like for his age and shit. Like,
he's on another level, bro. I have a lot of respect for him. Like him and I, we've had like a couple interactions. 24K Golden, you know, I made a video about him way before he blew up on YouTube. His comment is still up on there. He commented on it, showed a lot of love. We went back and forth on DMs like twice, showed a lot of love to my Instagram, commented on my old Instagram posts about him. As he progressively got bigger and like got like moved with Ian Dior, obviously like we lost touch because he's just like that big. But like I was cool with his producer Omar Fetty for a little while, who helped me with some research. There was like another dude who's in a circle named TK that, you know, we were really cool. So like ideally, like we could probably pull something together with him. I'd have to make a few calls, but you know, it's within sights for sure. But we're trying to shoot like content with artists. So like, if I go to like, you know what I mean, let's
mainly
say 24K Golden,
interviews or like
just content with them where we can ask questions, like get them to talk about stuff. But like rather than sitting down and making the whole thing questions answers, it could be like playing COD with 24K Golden and just sitting there and chilling and catching a vibe and just asking him questions, you know what I mean?
Or even just like following them around and chilling with them for a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, throughout the day, you're like vlogging and talking to them. That would be a sick idea too.
Yeah, we got some stuff coming on that front for sure. We locked in a couple stuff for sure.
What do you think Montreal is missing in the creative space, and like what do you think is wrong? Because like clearly there's a lot of people coming out of Montreal, but like for some reason they tend to be low key, or like people don't really know about them.
Yeah, like at least on the music front, like it's like it's the English-French barrier more than anything. Like a lot of the time these French dudes are like huge, but they're only gonna be huge in Quebec, you know what I mean? And like the English people don't even have a chance to shine in Quebec because French overshadows it. So you can't get like, if you're English, you can't get a local buzz, and if you're French, you can get a local buzz, but it can't extend beyond that. So someone like K Trinata, who's like obviously made it out of the city, like he's doing well, won multiple Grammys this year.
Right, yeah.
He's able to kind of float out of that space because he's a DJ / producer. So like what he does isn't limited by language. So if there's something where like a language interferes with what you're doing, like that's kind of where people are kind of meeting their barriers. But hopefully, you know, we see a little bit of a culture shift with all these like new upcoming artists and creatives.
Montrealers are super supportive and sick, but like for some reason, like when it comes to an artist, there's always like backlash and hate. And like as soon as they start popping off like somewhere else, we want to get on that bandwagon. Like that's kind of what happened to K Trinata. Like once K Trinata started popping up, now everybody's like, yo, he represents Montreal, like all that shit, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's a weird system. Like there's a lot of artists that have gotten to the point of like just on the brink of success out of Montreal. Like, you know what I mean? K-Goon was supposed to sign a deal, or was offered it. I don't know if he was offered. I don't really know the details, but there's the whole thing of legendary rapper like Noriega tried signing him or wanted to get him signed or something like that.
Yeah.
And like that was a huge opportunity. He was on the brink of breaking out of Montreal, but like even though he had the whole city support, like it just didn't go to that next like American level just yet. And like I see, you know what I mean, Mike Shab and Jen Loop have like a huge hit on TikTok right now called Sensuel or something like that. And like it's going so crazy, but like still, like other than Quebec and probably France, I don't really know, like their fan base is just, you can't, like they haven't developed it outside of like our city as well as, you know, these French speaking cities across the world.
I mean, you could argue like Latin music, like, you know how Latin music pops off, but that's because like of the style of music. So like maybe Montreal could have like a French side to it, where like it's like such a specific sound that like it rings, but like that's such a rare situation to happen because like we don't really have like a sound or like a style.
Yeah, like it's happened. Like Enima is like made it out of the city. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think he's in like Algeria or something right now. But he's made it out of the city. You know what I mean?
That's true. There are like random French markets like internationally.
Yeah, there are. But most of the time you got to leave. Like a lot of people don't know this, but Tory Lanez was born in Montreal. You know what I mean? And like super low key.
No way. Where in Montreal? Do you know?
The Bergs, like
okay.
Little Burgundy. So
no fucking way.
Yeah, super low key. Like he doesn't even brand himself like that. Like, really, nobody knows this. So I don't know if he grew up there, but I know he was born like to a family in that area, and then he just like dipped out like at a young age. But like him, like Baka Not Nice was born in Montreal. A lot of people are born in Montreal and then they just dip out, and that's where their music careers are like kind of given more opportunity. And I don't blame them for wanting to leave, but at the same time, like we kind of just need to develop something going on here. You know what I mean? People that rep the city.
Yeah, definitely, because there's definitely a market for that. Like I want to see that shit.
Absolutely. I think anyone like locally, like it's kind of like how New York reps like Lil TJ and Chef G and all these like different popping artists from their city. Like we just need kind of more of that Montreal pride and more of a united pride rather than like, you know, these French, like the French community of Montreal saying like, oh, yo, Vite and Loud and all of those guys are so dope. Like we should have them say that as well as, yo, like, you know what I mean, Zuli and Mike Schaap is like more French, but like Zuli and Kegun and Kid Riz and all these people are so dope also.
Yeah.
You know, if we had that unity and like fan
there's a vibe of like just that Fringlish, like, cause like we like brag a lot about how we could just switch back English French, like having to be able to like rep artists like that, I feel like would be super fucking cool, you know, like, and I'm honestly surprised why we don't do it, but like hopefully eventually like the more we like talk about shit like this and like, you know,
understand I mean, like this crossover is starting like where Toronto artists are starting to like really mess with the Montreal. Like I don't know if you know, but like Lil Baretti just dropped like a couple songs with like Dirty S and like Mb and stuff like that. And it's Fringlish, like it's like a mix of both, you know? And like he's a large artist from Toronto, so like this combination of like Toronto, Montreal scene, like that's really what's going to elevate us, at least in my opinion. I think more of those collaborations are really
have you heard of the artist called Hamza?
Yes, actually.
Because I believe he did a track with like a Toronto artist too, and like it actually has like a cool sound to it actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of these people that are really making good moves, you know what I mean? Like I think that if there's like more of these collaborations, like I know Kid Riz did something with Young Tory and like and Baretti and all this different stuff. Like if we just get more people from Montreal to do these collaborations with these like, you know, popping-ish artists out in Toronto, like it'll bring such a new set of eyes to what we're doing out here, you know?
Yeah, and it's like a new avenue within like the Canadian sound too.
Yeah, exactly. It's there's a lot of potential.
Well, yeah, man. Yeah, I really appreciate you coming, bro.
Absolutely, bro.
I'm excited that we connected because like I have some like dope ideas that I could do with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like you could point me in some directions too.
Yeah, for sure. I really am trying to get my like off the record type shit, but like fire. That's sick.